Today, I'm excited to introduce you to Troy Williams. Troy is the #1 real estate agent in the entire state of Maine. And in his market area, which includes some of New Hampshire, his team is involved in one out of every five real estate transactions, which is incredible, unheard of, really. And it's because people in the area trust him and his team members. In fact, last year, Troy and his team sold 271 homes. And this year, they'll sell more than 300. On top of that, Troy has been incredibly successful developing land for subdivisions and building apartment buildings. So he truly understands multiple paths to building wealth. And that's what we'll talk with him about today. Troy, you've helped over 2,100 families and investors achieve their real estate goals in your career, which has led you to starting other multiple businesses. You've got your real estate team, a handyman slash maintenance company, land development, real estate investments. For those watching, can you give us a quick overview of all of the businesses you're involved in and how they relate to each other?
Sure. It's all more or less been organic, and the sales business really feeds everything, right? The sales business gives us opportunity to, look at land that would be a great opportunity to develop, whether for us ourselves or for some of our clients. Same with, apartment buildings. We know zoning because of our land use specialty. So when we see certain tracts of land, they don't always have to be big. They're in the right zone. You can do, really unique things there. So today we've got the sales business, which feeds everything. The land development side, which allows us to then feed, turn one sale into, say 10, 20 listings back to the sales business. Our rental side allows us to, provide both housing and, peace of mind for a lot of our clients, whether they're not sure where they're going to go. They don't want to put their house on the market, knowing that it's a strong market, and then have an offer and then be afraid that they're going to, not have anywhere to go. Fear of the unknown is certainly a very scary thing for people. So we're able to, help those people and say, hey, look, we have opportunities. We've got options for you. Worst case, you stay here. For many people, they don't ever actually stay there, but the ability, the knowledge that they can, and they have that option is enough for them to move forward with listing their property. Um,
Yeah, it sounds like you really think through what do they not know? What are they scared of? What are they worried about? And
yeah,
then you figure out a solution.
yeah. And then the maintenance business has been huge because so many people, they want to sell, but they've got this laundry list of things that they need to get done. They can't get anyone to call them back. They can't, or they don't have the money to do it. And they know that by spending the 10,000 on these items, they're going to get $100,000 return. So, we're able to go in and say, look, we can loan you the money. We can do all the work. We'll sell the house. We'll get paid back at closing. And it's a win. They all work together, in different ways. And it's been pretty incredible how it's all, grown in a very organic manner.
Yeah, again, it goes back to you provide solutions to things people need. And I think that's great. And it's why people keep referring you to their friends and family.
Yeah.
I have a question about it, though. With so many things going on in your day, in your week, in your world, how do you decide how to allocate your time to
Yeah.
each of these successful businesses?
Good question. Yeah. I mean, it really comes down to, so every year I want to work on the businesses more than I work in them. By working on,
Mhm.
I'm able to plan, all right, this area needs improvement in this business. We need to get better over here. I'm able to use my time in a very proactive manner rather than reactive, which, let's face it, in real estate sales, so much of what we do is reactive. We're reacting to things as they're happening rather than being proactive and taking care of things before they become, on fire. So it's really, usually on Friday or Saturday, I will sit down, look at my next week. I try and have my one thing every day be in the morning. That way I'm most productive then. I can, like, my head's clearest. I'm able to get that done. So if nothing else happened, the day was a success. I then schedule my appointments at the end of the day, and in the middle, I'm able to then focus on these things, and it works pretty well.
And you know you have great people around you. I've had the privilege of meeting some of your team members, and I know you only surround yourself with people who are as smart or smarter than you.
Holy
Tell us
smart.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could never do any of this alone, nor would I want to, quite honestly. And for me, it's all about, finding that win-win, right?
Mhm.
I'm able to offer something that other people want, and they're able to offer something that I need. And together, it's like peanut butter and chocolate. I mean, that one and one becomes four. It's not two. It's a multiple factor.
Yeah, and you both end up going further faster than you could have alone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And so you are the number one agent in Maine, and I know that that title doesn't happen by accident or by luck, and it doesn't happen overnight. What does it actually take to become number one and stay number one year after year?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is taking care of our people. You know, solving problems for people. I, I always feel like the number one trait of a successful realtor is problem solving, right?
Mhm.
And
Oh, yeah.
giving people confidence, having people feel good about what they're doing. We're able to, essentially, there's no problem we can't solve. And every year we look at, okay, uh, this worked really well. People like this. Need to do this better. Do more of this. And we're always looking to offer additional services so that we can elevate what we do. Another big part of it is, never getting complacent. Nothing's ever done, right? It may be ready, but it's always being improved upon.
And I think from the consumer's perspective, one of the things that has made you number one, because they keep referring their friends and family to you, is that from their perspective, you make the buying and selling process less painful and
Yeah.
even fun when possible. But I think that's what you said. That's one of the secrets to your success. From my perspective, that's what I see.
Yeah, definitely. It people we have to remind ourselves that most people don't enjoy, buying or selling real estate. It's stressful.
Mhm.
It's expensive. It's a lot of emotions, and usually you're going through it at a time, where it's not. I mean, let's face it, you've got other things going on.
Mhm.
Death, divorce, marriage, like good, bad, downsizing, whatever it might be, new child, and so we really try to look at how can we make this process, you know, not so scary, not so painful, and make people feel good about it, and have some fun along the way. And I think that definitely that's huge. That is probably the biggest thing by far.
I think so. And it's been proven to work. So I want to switch gears now and talk about your investing. You've had incredible success developing land and building apartment buildings. Is that your preferred path to fortunes, or do you see stocks or some other kind of investing as the best path?
I personally, for me, real estate is my path. I love real estate. I love dirt. I love the physical nature of it. You can go and touch it, feel it, see it, see things come together. You're able to make a real impact. You're able to see transformation. You're able to solve problems for people. Uh, so for me, yes, real estate is definitely it. With that said, probably about 10 years ago, I realized that I needed to have more liquidity. I needed to have other, certainly some stocks. I use, whole life insurance for a big part of this to satisfy different banks when they have to loan you money, but they want to know that you've got the ability to pay it back should you run into some bumps in the road. So,
And you have mentioned in the past when we've talked about this that you also think it's important to have a really good financial advisor and a tax advisor.
yes. Yeah. I mean, I think people are realizing more as the talk of taxes has been in the public sector more and more. I think people are realizing like there the tax code is written in such a way that it's designed so that, hey, if you do this, this, and this, the government rewards you, and
Mhm.
how is certainly one of the areas where they reward you. And I think too many people focus on the first 20 pages of the tax code and forget about the other like 4,000 whatever. And the 4,000 pages, that's where they tell you all the things that, hey, if you do this, we'll give you this, and how to, basically make it work for you. And having a good financial advisor, um, it's like having a good realtor, right? They should be a fiduciary. A good financial advisor will tell you, you know, don't give me that money, Troy. You know, you can earn a far better return doing what you do, but set this aside. We'll put it in this fund, and that'll satisfy certain things. So you've got the liquidity, you've got the ability to satisfy certain ratios. But they're looking at the big picture with you, and they're not just pushing product. That's you.
Right. It's like somebody walking down the path with you instead of pulling you in a certain direction.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Um, I want us to know something about setbacks and challenges that you might have experienced, because every business owner at some point has some kind of a setback or challenge. Can you think of a challenge that you worked through, and how did you work through it without losing momentum?
yeah. Well, I love to tell you we didn't lose any momentum, but what I found is there's certain times we need to slow down, work on the business, make sure that everything's done right, everything's buttoned up, and then we can speed up again. And the probably the biggest thing was in 2019 we realized we needed to really change our sales business. We were making money, but we were not making the money we should be making, and I wanted to take the business in a direction that was less reliant on me in production and would allow me to do these other things, because truly, as much as I like sales, I love land. I love building things. I love helping other people build things. And I needed people on the team to take more of the sales from me so that I could do that. That required me hiring more admin, changing the way the business is run. Our comp plans had to be revised. And, as a result, 6 months later, we lost a big chunk of the team, the majority of the team. So it was not fun. And it would have been easier just to cave, and in the moment, at least easier to cave and just go back to the old plan and keep everybody, but it wouldn't get us where we wanted to go or where I wanted to go. So we brought new agents on over time. Prior to this, we were selling 400, 450 homes a year. Now, we're having around that 300 threshold, but we're able to do this in a manner that we're able to offer our agents incredible value. They're making more money. They're able to have support that, allows them to sell 40 homes a year and not get burnt out. Right.
Mhm.
And it's really been a win-win, and we came out of it a lot stronger, but we definitely had to slow down. We definitely lost some momentum. But I wouldn't do it any differently, today.
So what I'm hearing you say is it's okay to lose momentum when you know that the increase of the profitability is gonna make it worth it, and it sounds like it has for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And you've been able to also, with the increased support, take some more time off to enjoy your
Yeah.
new additions to your family. You've
Yeah.
got little ones at home now.
Yeah. I mean, that was a
Yeah.
big thing when we wanted to have kids. My wife said, we're not even going to talk about this until you can take Sundays off. Right.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
I was like, all right, now you got to take a half day on Saturday, and you got to be doing it consistently. And I really couldn't get beyond that threshold without making these changes. And I wanted to get home at a reasonable time during the week. So we had to make these changes, and these changes allowed me to have a better quality of life, allows our agents to have a better quality of life. And ultimately, we're able to, it's really a win-win for everybody, but
It sounds like
it wouldn't have worked for the prior group. It wasn't what they
so
wanted.
so yeah, so it sounds like even though your number of units went from 400 a year to 300 a year, you're able to take more time off now. The business is more profitable. Everybody's making more money.
Yeah.
So sometimes less is more.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I've
Absolutely.
got one last question for you, and this is about sharing some secrets to success for other business owners. What is a secret that you think is a secret to success that no matter what the business is, every business owner should know?
Honestly, for me, I think it's really about looking at the big picture, looking at, you know, who can I help, so that by helping them, they're going to want to, help me return the favor in one way or another. And it doesn't have to, it's not like, quid pro quo necessarily, but by coming from a place of, contribution, it's really allowed me to, I don't know, call it karma, call it whatever you want to call it. but it's allowed me to grow and do so much more than I otherwise could. I mean, now I have agents who are not in my organization, but they know that I'm looking at land. They know that I'm well versed in land. They know that multifamilies are something I'm very passionate about. They will call me and they'll say, "Hey, can you help me with this?" They might be a totally different brokerage, and I help them. I take the 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it might be. I mean, I'm not going to spend much more than that necessarily, unless I schedule it. And then help them, and then those agents years down the line will call me and say, "Hey, I've got this opportunity. I can't put it on the market for this reason or that reason. Are you interested in buying it?" And I wouldn't get that phone call if I had said to them when they first called me, "Yeah, buzz off, man. I don't have time to help you." Right. But by helping others, it's allowed me to really grow a big business. So I think, to answer your question, Heidi, I think the biggest thing is coming from a place of abundance rather than scarcity, and looking at, how can I add to other people's lives, and who can I help so that, I'm going to get where I want to go as well.
Well, thank you for helping everybody who's watching this video and listening to this podcast today. Thank you for sharing your perspective and your wisdom. And to everyone watching, I hope what you heard is that success leaves clues. And so you've got to find the path that fits you and commit to it, and just stay focused long enough for it to work. Have that big picture view, and take time when it's appropriate to slow down to plan your day, slow down to plan your week, slow down to help others, slow down to make the right choices in who you hire, so that then you can go further faster once you can speed up.
Yeah.
I'm Heidi Thor. This is Paths to Fortunes. This is a place for real business owners making real decisions on real paths. Thanks for being with us today. This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing in this episode should be considered financial, legal, or tax advice. The strategies and experiences shared by our guests represent one person's journey, and they are not a guarantee of future results for you or anyone else. Every financial situation is unique, and we encourage you to consult with licensed professionals before making any financial decisions. If this episode added value to your life, we'd love to know. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, and we'll see you on the next step of the journey. Thanks for walking with us on Paths to Fortunes.